Ever launched a new low ticket offer? You sent the email to your list, you posted a couple times about it on your Instagram and thought, this is it. This is the one, only to get zero sales. Okay, that's exactly what happened to one of my clients, a career coaching company. They had a solid offer, a great idea, but no system around it. No funnel, no nurture sequence, even their warmest audience didn't take action. And I mean, there was thousands and thousands between their email list and their social media accounts, thousands of people that didn't buy. So, how did we turn this around? How did we transform their low ticket offer into a funnel that not only converts on the front end, but when shared with their warmest audience, upsold 20% of them into the high ticket offer? Okay, so I'm going to show you exactly how we did this. So when I started working with them, there was two things that they were doing, right? This is their first ever low ticket offer. They did one email announcement, maybe a few email announcements after that when they saw they had no sales, some organic posts on their social media, again, zero sales. Why was this? There wasn't actually a journey. There was no funnel, there was no nurture sequence, there was no conversion infrastructure. Even the warm leads, meaning the people who had taken action on their products before, were their raving fans, didn't even take action, even though they said this is something that they wanted. So, how did we shift from this post and pray strategy that a lot of folks do and a lot of coaches do to an effective, sustainable strategy that you can dependably rely on? We scrapped the old launch approach for them and we designed a funnel that focused on lead nurturing and not just selling. We also implemented behavior based sequences and sequencing to guide the next step action. Now, obviously, the people who are moving to this next sequence are the people who are saying yes, and those who are saying no, that's totally okay. But for those who were ready to move forward and those who were interested, we developed a sequence to make it easy for them to move forward. Then we prioritized warm leads from emails and organic audiences. So website pop ups, email list, right? There's other organic places, social media like link in bio. And we prioritized it there because of the results that we were seeing when our warmer leads went through this funnel. So, what did we actually do? This whole system is an evergreen engine. It's a whole evergreen sequence, it's an evergreen funnel path. So we created a structure. So it wasn't just about, hey, we're going to launch this thing and hope that people buy. We had a structure to how people were introduced to this offer to make sure that they were ready to hear it. So we had an opt in, a nurture, the offer that we were talking about, the low ticket offer, and then a follow up sequence. And then seeing the data that the people who were coming in through our organic channels, the people who are more middle of funnel and bottom of funnel, the people who knew us, were not only going on to buy this low ticket offer more frequently, but they were more likely to upsell into the higher ticket coaching offer. But not only that, we were able to actually see that they had a higher lifetime value than other members coming in through other channels. So we leveraged existing assets. So as I mentioned here, we had this funnel path of opt-in. So one of the things that I wanted to see with them is what opt-ins do you already have that you know are working that would be great to test and naturally flow into this next step so that their low ticket offer is the natural next step to their opt-in, and they had one. So we tested that and they didn't have to recreate anything because they already had it existing. We were just putting the puzzle pieces in the right place. So instantly what we were seeing is that the newsletter traffic, like people coming in from the newsletter who saw this offer, they then converted into the low ticket offer at a 2 to 3% conversion rate. Now, 1% conversion rate is great for cold traffic, and typically you aim for a 1 to 5% conversion rate. But again, these folks weren't even buying at all. And now, as soon as we put the right puzzle pieces into the right order, 2 to 3% of them instantly started buying. Then from there, of the course purchasers, so of the people who bought this low ticket offer, through a structured backend sequence that helped guide them to the next step there, 27% of them upsold into the high ticket membership. 27%. So what was really cool here is we were starting to collect some insights and see that this was actually optimizing for a lifetime value. On average, the lifetime value for this organization and their coaching members was around $1,400. But the people who were coming in through this funnel, the newsletter people who, when they just posted about their offer, didn't buy. But when we posted about this freebie that they then did opt into, and then were told about the low ticket offer through a sequence and then bought that, they had a higher lifetime value with the organization. Now you can see here where newsletter leads were, and then you can also see here where organic traffic was. So people who came in through a pop-up, or maybe it was through the welcome sequence and then it was added to there, or maybe it was the link in bio on a social media and then they went to the site to opt in. Then what else we saw is that the lead to call conversion was 29%. So of the people coming in, and this is a marketing lead, going to a sales lead, right? Because that's a call. So someone opting in, an opt-in lead, I'll just call it an opt-in lead, going to book a call, 29% of them did. And then from lead directly into the membership, so maybe they didn't even buy the course. Actually, these people didn't buy the course. They just went straight to lead into membership. That was 3% from the newsletter and 9% from the organic source. So you can see how structuring these pieces in the proper places, it's not that they didn't have pieces, they were just not in the proper places and they were not sequencing them and presenting the content to their audience in the right order. And so I hear this a lot because coaches will be like, I know how to create content. That's great. Creating content and the production of content is one thing. Being able to upload it and post it, distribution of that content is another thing. But just because you are doing the thing doesn't mean that you're going to be guaranteed success. What makes sure that you are building a system, this journey map that guides people through self-sustaining sales is through this sequencing, through this intentional flow, is through making sure the content pieces you have and that you are creating are in the proper order to guide people to where they need to be. Because no matter how much content you are producing, if you are putting that content and that messaging in front of even your ideal audience, but at the incorrect stage of the sequence, they still won't hear it because they're not ready to hear it. So this is how a lot of coaches are wasting a lot of energy and a lot of resources with content, because it's not just about producing content, it's about sequencing your content in the proper order to guide people along the customer journey. So what did this end up doing? They went from 0 sales to a reliable evergreen funnel that converted from cold to warm leads. So we did a lot of this testing through ads, and now they don't run ads. It's completely throughout their organic funnels. This was a really great test that we found performed better middle of funnel, right? So this is what we mean. It's not just about content, it's making sure that it was presented to the right people who are ready to hear it. Because when it was top of funnel, the conversion numbers didn't look as great as these, but when we looked and measured at middle of funnel, they were so much stronger. And the reason why that is due to the lead magnet. It was a very hefty lead magnet, and typically lead magnets for top of funnel aren't as hefty. But these are where you can take your insights and be like, okay, now I want to get more volume top of funnel. How can I maybe change my lead magnets to make that more compelling and then guide them to this working back end? So now they have a reliable evergreen funnel where they have low ticket offer sales coming in without having to spend any money. And they know these conversion metrics are all automated on the back end. This whole sequence is automated. So no one is having to send emails or anything of that sort. Depending on how this person buys or clicks in that sequence, they will be guided on this path. And organically showing a $2,000 lifetime value. High value leads identified and prioritized, and now the funnel serves as something that is scalable. So if they do want to end up putting dollars behind it, they know exactly, maybe don't put this top of funnel, but we could put this middle of funnel and run ads to retargeting audiences and test that. So what is the biggest takeaway, especially if you are a coach or in the leadership space? The issue isn't always the product. It's not even always the messaging. It's not even always the audience. You could easily say, oh, it's the audience. We have the wrong audience, and then do a whole bunch of work solving incorrect issues. The issue for them was that they just didn't have a conversion system. They had all the right pieces, but the puzzle pieces were not in the right place. But once they did have the right pieces in place, the right sequencing, the right funnel, where they had nurturing, segmenting, and then back-end logic, that same exact offer that they thought flopped and wasn't successful now became one of their highest performing revenue generators organically, especially introducing people to their offer. So if you're sending people to an offer and you're hearing silence, it may not be your product. It could be that you are missing this path and the structuring of the content in the correct order. So if you want to talk about how you can structure your sequence in the proper way, and for them, this was their low ticket offer, it might be something else for you, how your funnel system looks. But if you are a coach with a low ticket offer or a webinar funnel or a lead magnet funnel and it's not converting, especially on the back end, the problem is likely not your product. It's likely this path and pieces of this path where there are gaps. So drop funnel in the comments and I'll send you the exact guide I use to see where the gaps are. And I'll send you a walkthrough on how you can exactly solve for that gap. I'll talk to you later. Bye.